Welcome back to the GLF Bonn Conference 2018. I'm Natasha Elkington, your host for the next 2 days. And today I have with me Tony Rinaudo, who is from World Vision's Natural Resources Management Specialist, and more famously known as the Forest Maker, an environmental hero, I hear, because you've transformed millions of hectares of dry land in Niger. And which has had an impact on saving thousands in vulnerable communities in Africa. And you're the winner of the Livelihood Award. Right. So please tell us a bit more about this award and what it means.
The Right Livelihood Award is sometimes called the alternate Nobel Prize. And it recognizes people who've made a significant contribution either in environmental areas or in human rights. So it's very prestigious, and I'm very honored to receive that. And what it means for me is that it lifts the platform, it creates awareness globally on a very simple method that was transformative in Niger Republic, West Africa.
Right, so you're going to tell us a bit more about that, about how you transformed this dry land into, yes, please.
Sure. Well, I figured that if it was people who reduced biodiverse functioning ecosystems to a state not too much different to the surface of the moon, it would require change in behaviour and attitude of people if we were going to restore it. So not so much a technical fix or requiring tens of millions of dollars, if we could only understand why people behave the way they do. And I call them turning enemies into friends, people who are fighting against nature and chopping it down, burning it, destroying it. If we could turn them into friends and work with nature, then nature will work for you. And basically, in a nutshell, that's what we did. The process itself builds on the fact that even though many landscapes look like they're treeless, barren plains, just beneath the surface, there's a treasure trove waiting to be released. Living tree stumps, even bits of root with the ability to resprout, and in the absence of those, seeds. And if we change the way we manage the landscape in terms of not thoroughly burning the whole landscape every year, managing the way we move our animals, and not ploughing every square inch, if we change that, nature will heal itself. And so when you said Tony restored millions of hectares, it's not strictly true. I worked through people, and in the end, in fact, I wasn't even aware at the speed and the scale that it was happening, because all I did was release an idea that you can create a better future for yourself and your children if you work with nature. And because it has relatively quick benefits, it's easy to do, all the resources you need are at hand, then it's spread like, well, it's a bad analogy, like fire.
Exactly. Amazing, amazing. So why is the GLF important in terms of your work?
It's incredibly important because the problems of this world, particularly in terms of climate change, land degradations, and the implications that has for poverty, refugees, food security, it can't be solved acting alone, acting in competition with each other. We need to work together and have a framework for doing so. So it's terribly important.
Great. So, and how do we take your idea and replicate it, globally? Because I know 24 countries around the world have kind of followed this, your idea, and changes are happening. How do we scale this up?
One approach that we're taking, World Vision is, what's the word? I've forgotten.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Initial founder of this Global Evergreening Alliance.
Yes. Okay.
And working together. So there are many development non-government organizations, conservation organizations, research groups, advocacy groups working together under this umbrella. And together we can seek funding and implement very large-scale projects across many countries. So the time is past for having pinpoint location-specific successes. And when even moving beyond the concept of projects, we're talking about initiating movements. There's not enough time or funding for projects, but if we can inspire individuals at every level to take up these practices that are, in a sense, earth-friendly, working with nature, then it can move very, very quickly and have a very high impact.
Wow. So in a way, working with nature used to be how we used to do things before, and then it kind of changed. Are we sort of going back to how we used to farm? Is this like going back to traditional methods? Is that a way?
To a degree, certainly. And even this method, which I promote, farmer-managed natural regeneration, it's actually a traditional method across many parts of the world, which for one reason or other we've gotten out of the habit of doing. And so while we'll never go back to the hand hoe,
Right.
there's a place for mechanisation and efficiency and science. But many of the traditional practices make sense ecologically, and we have to approximate them to the degree possible.
Right, great. And what do you hope to get out of the conference while you're here for the next 2 days?
Well, at the very least, I hope the message that I have will inspire many, many people, because the solutions are, in the words of Bill Mollison, co-founder of permaculture, the solutions are embarrassingly simple. And so at the very least, I hope that I can inspire others to take up methods like this, but also what a wonderful opportunity to learn from others.
Right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time
My
and
pleasure.
for spending time with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.